Yes, GS Paul again, please. As you know, we have finished human biology and we have now come to another subject, another part of the biology, that is cell biology. Now we'll be looking at the cell, and all living things are made up of a very small structural and functional unit of a living structure. This fundamental structural and functional unit of a living body is called a cell. Now, there are two types of cells to begin with. One are called prokaryotes, and the second ones are called eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are those ones which are primitive, and the old type of cells found in bacteria and viruses. And the eukaryotes are new cells, are modern cells which have a little modern structure, and they are found in plants and animals. We shall be looking at eukaryotes with reference to human body. So the two types of cells, prokaryotes and eukaryotes, we shall be looking at eukaryote, the first. Actually, eu means new, modern, and pro means primitive or the old ones. Now, as we are referring to generally an animal cell, or particularly the human cell and the cell in the human body. So the first thing is that how many cells are present in a human body? The number of cells present in a human body is astonishing. You'll be shocked to know the number of cells present in a human body. The number of cells vary from 30 trillion to 40 trillion in one body. In case of males, the general number of cells is around 36 trillion, and in females the number of cells are around 28 trillion, and in the body of a child or not adult person is around 10 trillion cells. Now what I'm trying to emphasize is, imagine the number of cells and imagine the number of cells present in one body, and each cell in itself is a complete fundamental, structural and functional unit. It performs all the functions required for a cell. We will be coming to it little later. Now, depending upon the shape of the cell, generally, basically, the shape of the cell is circular or oval, but depending upon the function and the position of the cell, where is it present, the shape of the cell changes. For instance, in case of I'm referring to a human body. In case of the cells of the skin. In the skin alone, there are different types of cells. Of course, basically, the more common or the important type of important shape is circular cell or oval cells. Now, that is in the skin. If we look at the different cells present in the body of a human body, for instance, the cells, bone cells, the cells, blood cells, RBCs, and WBCs, and platelets, the shape is different. Not only that, the nerve cell, the shape of the cell, nerve cell is very different from the general shape of the cell. And to mention a very strange type of cell is the spermatozoa, the cells of male reproductive organs, the male reproductive structures, which are mobile. They have a tail and they run around. And similarly, the ovum. And what I am referring to is that the shape of the cell in a human body differs from one shape to another depending upon its position and its function. Now, each cell has its own structure and own function to perform. And depending on the function it is performing, the shapes also differ. Now, coming to a general cell or general cell body, which is of this shape, each cell separates itself from the surroundings. What I mean is that each cell has a boundary wall. And this boundary wall is called the cell membrane. Now, I am starting with the structure of a cell. In case of, I'm referring to animal cell and with special reference to the cell in human being. The cell membrane separates itself from all the other cells of the body and all the structures around the cell membrane. And the cell membrane is made up of proteins and carbohydrates. Now, the cell membrane is permeable in its function. That means it permits the things to come in and to go out. For instance, it will permit the things to come in like nutritive elements like glucose, amino acids, water, and the other things. And it will also let the things go out. For example, the waste products and the carbon dioxide and the other products. So the cell membrane is selectively permeable. It permits certain things to go out and other things to come in. So its function is permeable. Now, inside the cell, the space inside the cell is filled up with the fluid called cytoplasm. To begin with, the cell was called a cell, and the word cell means a space surrounded by walls all around. For instance, in the jail, there are rooms where prisoners are kept and the room is closed from all the sides, and that is called a cell. And similarly, we have a cell of a battery, which is closed from all the sides. But And this was Robert Hooke in 17th century. He looked at the cork cells. He looked at the cork, and in the cork all the cells were dead. So they were sort of empty spaces in the cork. Later on, Sheldon and Shawn, they developed a cell theory, and they said that the word cell is a misnomer. It should have been called something else. Now, why? Because this is Sheldon and Shawn. They gave the cell theory, and they found that in the cell, within the cell membrane, and they are the ones who called the membrane as the cell membrane. Within the cell membrane, there is a fluid called cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. The whole thing is cytoplasm. And Sheldon and Shawn said that cell is not an empty space. It is filled up with the fluid called cytoplasm and certain other things. Now, the cytoplasm consists of water, the nutrients like glucose, amino acids, minerals, vitamins, and certain other things. It also contains the waste products like urea, amino acids, and hormones. Now, all these things mixed with water called the cytoplasm. Plus, in the cytoplasm, there are certain structures which are called cell organelles. These are called cell organelles because each structure in its own shape and form performs a definite function on its own, the individual structure. And because it is the individual structure performing all the functions on its own, therefore it is called as a organelle, small organs. Now, what are those small organelles? Are the nucleus, the ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, and centrioles, centrosome, Golgi body, and lysosomes and other structures like this. Now, the cytoplasm and these cell organelles, all this is enclosed within the cell membrane. All this is separate from all the fluids around the cell membrane and the other cells. Now, coming down to the cell organelles. The first cell organelle, which is important, is called the nucleus. It lies in the center of the cell, therefore it's called the nucleus. Now, the nucleus has a membrane also called the nuclear membrane. Inside the nuclear membrane, there is a fluid called the nucleoplasm. And nucleoplasm consists of, again, the water and amino acids and some of the other structures I'll be referring to. In addition to the nucleoplasm, in the nucleoplasm, there's present the nucleolus, and the nucleolus is composed of messenger RNA. And in the nucleus, there is present chromatin material. Chromatin material is the structure which actually gets colored, and therefore it is called chromatin material. It gives rise to chromosomes, which are the centers for DNA. Now, chromosomes, there are 26 chromosomes in the human body, and in each nucleus, in each cell. And out of these 26, no, 46, I beg your pardon, 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs. Out of these 23 pairs, 22 are similar chromosomes, and they are called autosomes, or body chromosomes, and 2 of them are sex chromosomes, chromosome X and chromosome Y. So there are 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 are autosomes, which means they are similar, and 1 pair is different, which is called sex chromosome, and this identifies the sex of the cell or the sex of the newborn baby. Now, so inside the nucleus, we have nucleoplasm, the nucleolus, the chromatin material, and the nucleoplasm. The nuclear membrane again separates the nucleus from the cytoplasm and the cell organelles. Now, the other structure that we have in the cell is ribosomes. Ribosomes are too many, and they are the centers for synthesizing proteins. All the proteins which are synthesized in the ribosomes, and proteins are synthesized from the amino acids, and amino acids are present in the cytoplasm. And in the cytoplasm, amino acids have come from the digested food. The proteins that has been digested in the alimentary canal are absorbed in the blood as digested in the form of amino acids, and these amino acids come into the blood, and that blood comes to all parts of the body. Actually, the amino acids do not come directly into the cell, into the cytoplasm. They come into the lymph around the cell, and from the lymph they are absorbed, they are allowed to come in through the cell membrane. So, proteins are synthesized by the ribosomes from the amino acids which are present in the cytoplasm. Now, the other structure which is present in the cytoplasm is lysosomes. Lysosomes are structures which are responsible for recycling the waste product and disposal of the waste products. Anything which has to be disposed of from the body of the cytoplasm, from the body of the cell, is taken up by the lysosome, and they are removed from the cytoplasm, from the cell. Now, in addition to this, there are centrioles. Centrosome having 2 centrioles. Centrosome is responsible for cell division. The main function of the cell is cell division. We shall be taking up after this cell how the cell division takes place in case of cells. Now, the centrosome consists of 2 centrioles and some fluid around it, and the whole structure is called centrosome. We have other structure which is Golgi apparatus, and Golgi apparatus is considered to be a post office. It collects the things which are manufactured in the cytoplasm and makes it in a package, and that package is sent to the outside. And sometimes the Golgi apparatus is also called the post office of the cell. Then we have reticulum. there are two types of reticulum. One is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for the synthesis of proteins. And the other is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for synthesizing the lipids from the fatty acids and glycerol, which has come after being digested in the lymph and from the lymph into the cytoplasm. Now, inside the cytoplasm, there is a vacuole also. In case of animals, the vacuole is not that distinct or not that big, but it stores some of the water and minerals in it, the vacuole. Then we have mitochondria. Mitochondria are very important structures or cell organelles present in the cytoplasm. The function of the mitochondria is the power plants. In the mitochondria, the food is, glucose is used to produce energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. The mitochondria produce the energy required for each cell and the group of cells and the whole body and all the muscles. And wherever the energy is required, mitochondria produces the energy in the form of ATP. Now this is what we have in as organelles inside the cytoplasm of a cell. Now that is the description of we have in addition to this, we have some filaments, microfilaments in the cell, and these filaments are responsible for providing the structure to the cell, and we say they provide the skeletal structure, they give the shape to the cell. Now that finishes the detailed structure of an animal cell. Thank you. By the way, if you have any question, please ask that question in the section, in the comment section, and you must ask questions. As I said, the boy who asks question is a student, and a student who does not ask question is just a boy. In addition to this, I would like to say that if you must like this lesson, you must give thumbs up and press the thumbs up button, and pass this information to your friends, and press the button of notification, so that when I when I upload the other video, you will get notified and you can look at it. That's what it is. Thank you.